Hello everyone, welcome to Freedom Fighter 2127. I've got some pretty urgent news. This was posted on the Moscow Times about 10 hours ago, March 26th at 11:04. It is now 2:18 p.m. Last edited 18:34. That's their time, obviously. But first of all, this report came out, and it's very dire because, well, it was posted on the 24th, and it's in Russian, so we translated it. Chechen speaker said resolution of the U.S. Congress which calls on Obama to supply weapons to Georgia. U.S. House of Representatives on Monday passed a resolution, the text of which calls for U.S. President Barack Obama to send weapons to Kiev. The House of Representatives urged President USA fully and immediately take advantage of the powers given to Congress and to provide Ukraine with defensive weapons system to enhance the possibility of the Ukrainian people to defend its sovereign territory, said in the document. This document goes on to state how Chechnya and how Russia are going to respond. How they're going to respond is a little alarming because they're going to arm Mexico. And by Mexico, I mean these states. Yeah, I just posted this one a little while ago. Let me get to the actual states. Here we go. They're going to arm these states, but they're not Mexican. They're American. Those are part of our country. You know, something funny about this here, because in this JADE HELM 15 drill, let me show you. Check this out. Russian armed states, which I'll show you in the document in just a second here, just a sec here. JADE HELM 15 drill, I'm going to turn it on. Look at that. So you're going to sit here and tell me that the U.S. is doing drills in the same states that Russia plans to arm insurgents for civil war. Let me read. Russian soldiers have been coming through Canada for months, infiltrating parts of our entire country. They have spread far and wide, waiting for the order. The latest move by the USA to arm Ukraine has pushed Russia too far, and Russia's response will be quick and severe. Recently, a Texas secessionist asked Russia for help. As it turns out, their help might be coming to life. Russia plans to arm insurgents in the USA, specifically in the states of California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. This move by Russia is under the guise of arming Mexico. They plan to, quote, supply weapons to guerrillas in those states. Now, it is no coincidence that the USA is responding to these threats with a realistic two-month-long military drill, which is called JADE HELM 15. The purposes of this drill are in question, one reason being the oddity of the length of the drill. The drills begin in Texas, which according to the Obama administration is hostile, and have expanded to Florida and Mississippi. According to our military source, these are not just drills. This was pretty alarming because I got this alert from my source from I think it was a few days ago, and now I'm seeing this, and it's just more proof, and more proof is piling up that how close we are. Obviously, things can all revert and go back to absolute nothing, but I'm just saying that's just how close we are to a brink or a bubble popping. Texas will be the first state, according to our military source, these are not just drills. Texas will be the first state to be under martial law, and the military needs to be fully prepared to take control of the cities and counties at a moment's notice for a widespread full-on lockdown scenario. Furthering proof is the newfound death domes that are popping up all across Texas. These death domes are dual-use shelters. They are not just for storms. These domes are the perfect induction sites for the thousands that will be bused to their locations because U.S. citizens will arrive in droves under the declaration of martial law. This summer is fixing to be a very interesting time period. I've got all the videos in a slideshow here. I have Flash Player off, so you can't really see what I'm showing you. But anyways, I really want to show you this map, and I want to read this article because this is the original source on the 24th of March 2015. I sat on it for about a day. I was going to post about it. I just wanted to kind of verify, and I kind of regret waiting. I should have gone with my gut because it's just too coincidental, if you would. Okay, let me show you a few things. This map I've shown you recently quite a bit of. The feds have taken over police stations in these states. Let me turn that back off so you can see it kind of flash there. So as you can see up here and then down here, they've pretty much taken over the entire South with a military drill that is going all across the entire South. Why? A realistic 2-month-long military drill that now has expanded to Florida and Mississippi. Something is up. Let me turn off the Feds take over police. Okay, so this is Jade Helm. Let me flash it again. That way you can see what goes on and what goes off. All the red dots, or red place markers if you would, are cities and counties inside of Texas. These were also included in Jade Helm: California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado. Speaking of Utah, they just approved firing squads. But now Florida and Mississippi have also been included in this drill. There's no telling how large this drill is going to be. What is really in question is it just going to completely engulf the United States when martial law does get declared? Or is this the beginning movement of martial law? Because that's what it looks like. It really does. This Russian war, this Cold War is just a moment's notice away from being hot. It is so incredibly important for us to understand what is truthfully taking place. The reason why these states were chosen, let me read this in here. Let me find it real quick. I think it's up here. This move by Russia is following the response path of a, quote, eye for an eye. Historically, America annexed the now U.S. states of California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. And that's according to this guy right here. I can't pronounce his name. It's very, very hard for me to pronounce. It's right. He is Speaker Duka Vuka. I don't even know. Said resolution of the U.S. Congress which calls on Obama to supply weapons to Georgia. U.S. House of Representatives said Monday passed a resolution, the text of which calls for U.S. President Barack Obama to send weapons to Kiev. For this decision, 348 congressmen spoke against 48. 348 approved the bill, and Humvees have already started arriving in Kiev. There is no telling of what Russia's response will be, but if you guys recall correctly what Putin said, he said that is pretty much a declaration of war. That's just another straws that broke the camel's back. Another one of the straws they could have chosen to break the camel's back. Now we've begun that. The House of Representatives urged President USA fully and immediately take advantage of the powers given to Congress and to provide Ukraine with defensive weapon systems to enhance the possibility of the Ukrainian people to defend its sovereign territory, said in the document. Chairman of the Parliament of the Czech Republic, Duka Vaka, I'm not even going to try, commented the news and turned to American colleagues. Dear members of the Congress of the United States of America, from U.S. citizens often hear about the exclusivity of the U.S. Constitution. It keeps popping up with the Russian translation. According to your basic law, everyone has the right to freedom of expression. No political speech should ban only on the grounds that is in favor of one side and not the other. None of the citizens can not be forbidden to act only because they stated their opinion is false or dangerous, said the Supreme Court is in one of its decisions interpreting the U.S. Constitution. Meanwhile, your words with your own actions for believing in a false American freedom of speech suffered Bradley Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and many others. We cannot be happy with that the U.S. government takes all sorts of overt measures aimed at destabilizing the political situation in the neighboring Russian state, promotes NATO to the east. All actions in Europe and the United States at the Russian borders are unacceptable, and so rapid expansion of the West, NATO enlargement, is in fact a manifestation of aggression. The Soviet Union, to fight and which was founded by the alliance, has died in August 1991. Did die in 1991. So what then is the purpose of NATO? And anyway, what is it still there? Why is it still there? In history, there were many precedents. When the supply of U.S. weapons in certain troubled spots of the world does not help resolve conflict, but on the contrary, leads to a multiple increase in casualties among the illegal proliferation of gang and terrorist groups to an escalation of conflict. Let's look at the results of the post-Soviet NATO activities. Millions of civilians, and you can go on to read all this. I'm not going to read it all. I'm looking for the important part, which is down towards the bottom. Hang on, I got to find it again. I often wonder what interest haunts America in Ukraine, representatives of our country, to protect the country from invaders. More than 3.5 million of our soldiers died defending the Ukrainian lands from Nazi invaders. At the same time, some NATO generals, often in Kiev today, were representatives of countries that were once allied with the army of the Third Reich War, including the Ukrainian people. In the USSR, patched the Ukrainian state together with the Ukrainians in the development of post-war Union Republic worked Russian, Georgians, Chechens, Armenians, and Jews. None of the U.S. dollar has been spent on the reconstruction and development of Ukraine after the Second World War. Moscow and Kiev, since ancient times, built statehood together against Russian and Ukrainian peoples, today are fraternal. It follows that the United States has no right to advise Russia to behave with neighboring friendly people. Supply of arms to Ukraine will be perceived by us as a signal to the appropriate actions. We will begin delivery of new weapons to Mexico to resume debate on the legal status of the territories annexed by the United States, which are now the U.S. states of California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. We reserve the right to perform in Russia, Mexico, America conferences with questions raised about the separation of the above-mentioned state of the United States and delivery of weapons to the guerrillas there. They're going to deliver weapons to America, to insurgents inside of America, to guerrillas inside of America. What's the main problem? Our border is wide open. We have been getting invaded for months with foreign troops. It's been years. They have infiltrated parts of our entire country. Just to verify, this is the Moscow Times. Chechnya threatens to send weapons to Mexico if U.S. arms Ukraine. March 26, 2015. This is very verified. Obviously, this is another part of their plan or their play to bring down the United States of America. A Kremlin spokesman reminded Russia's Republic of Chechnya that it is illegal for Russian regions to send weapons abroad after the Chechen parliament threatened to supply arms to Mexico for it to fight the United States. Which means, guess what? It's going on. When I first read this line, I actually thought that they were talking about Cuba or Venezuela, not parts of Mexico. But that's what I was just thinking, that's why we declared a national emergency with Venezuela, because right after that, Russia and China started doing major drills in Venezuela. The Chechen parliament made the statement in response to a U.S. congressional resolution that called for sending lethal military aid to Ukraine. Clearly, this is on the table. Obviously, they're going to try and cover it up and say, no, we can't do that, it's illegal. How many actions do world leaders take that are illegal around the world, Innumerous. Clearly, with Jade Helm lining directly up with where Russia is planning to supply weapons, this is alarming. We might actually have to get ready for martial law. I will leave this link. It's got a ton of information in it. It's also the translation of what I just read to you. This link here is also in the bottom of this one here, so I'll leave the link. This is obviously to the main website, freedomfighterreports.com. This is massive. This is explosive. Because literally, supply weapons to guerrillas in those states. Think about that. We're in for it. God bless you all. Be safe. Please check out the websites freedomfighterreports.com and exodusplan.net. Take it easy. I just posted this one a little while ago. Let me get to the actual states. Here we go. They're going to arm these states, but they're not Mexican. They're American. Those are part of our country. You know, something funny about this here. Because in this Jade Helm 15 drill, let me show you. Check this out. Russian armed states, which I'll show you in the document in just a sec here. Jade Helm 15 drill. I'm going to turn it on. Look at that. 2:18 p.m. Last edited 18:34. That's their time, obviously. But first of all, this report came out, and it's very dire because, well, it was posted on the 24th, and it's in Russian, so we translated it. Chechen speaker said resolution of the U.S. Congress which calls on Obama to supply weapons to Georgia. U.S. House of Representatives on Monday passed a resolution, the text of which calls for U.S. President Barack Obama to send weapons to Kiev. The House of Representatives urged President Hello everyone, welcome to Freedom Fighter 2127. I've got some pretty urgent news. This was posted on the Moscow Times about 10 hours ago, March 26 at 11:04. It is now 2. So you're going to sit here and tell me that the U.S. is doing drills in the same states that Russia plans to arm insurgents for civil war. Let me read. Russian soldiers have been coming through Canada for months, infiltrating parts of our entire country. They have spread far and wide, waiting for the order. The latest move by the USA to arm Ukraine has pushed Russia too far. USA fully and immediately take advantage of the powers given to Congress and to provide Ukraine with defensive weapons system to enhance the possibility of the Ukrainian people to defend its sovereign territory, said in the document. This document goes on to state how Chechnya and how Russia are going to respond. How they're going to respond is a little alarming, because they're going to arm Mexico. And by Mexico, I mean these states.